Welcome to the Cooking with Friends session. Today we will be covering food substitution and adaptations. Recipes can be adapted or modified to fit special dietary needs. Some of these include for weight loss, heart conditions, diabetes, and food allergies. By modifying recipes, you can still enjoy your favorite recipe and make it fit your dietary needs. In adapting recipes, look for problem ingredients that make a recipe high in fat, cholesterol, or sodium, or any other ingredient you're looking for. Find substitutions to reduce the amount or eliminate the ingredient completely. Also, you can change the method of food preparation. Instead of deep frying something, you can always boil or bake it. You can replace ingredients with a like food. An example would be to replace milk with soy, rice, coconut, or almond milk. To reduce fat and oil, start with foods that are naturally low in fat. An example of this would be fruits, vegetables, dry beans, lean cuts of meat and poultry, and again fish and seafood. Then use them in low-fat cooking methods like boiling, baking, broiling, or grilling them to reduce the amount of fat and oil in them. You can also reduce or omit fats in the recipe or use a substitution. For example, applesauce. Using applesauce for fat in muffins and quick breaks is a great alternative. To reduce salt in a recipe, replace the salt with small amounts of seasonings or spices that are in the recipe. Note to remember that dried seasonings and spices are stronger, so use less of them than fresh herbs and spices. To reduce sugar in recipes, you can actually cut back the amount of sugar in your recipe and use other ingredients like vanilla, cinnamon, and nutmeg to enhance the sweet flavor. You can also find a sugar substitute that will work in place of the sugar, and you can also use applesauce as a great alternative for sugar in recipes. There are many gluten-free substitutions that you can use, from anything from leafy greens to use for bread instead of bread, cornmeal, nuts for croutons, corn tortillas. You can use vegetables, especially zucchini, as lasagna or pasta noodles. And spaghetti squash is a great alternative for pasta. And you can find many different substitutions currently on grocery store shelves that are gluten-free. To make a recipe dairy or casein-free, there are lots of substitutes that you can use, like soy, rice, fruit juice, water. You can also replace yogurt. You can use soy or coconut yogurt, sour cream, unsweetened applesauce. And for butter, you can always use vegetable oil or olive oil or a non-dairy buttery spread, are just a few examples of things that you can substitute to make a recipe dairy-free. As it shows on our slide, we give you some great alternatives to use instead of eggs. Anything from applesauce and baking powder to an egg replacer to tofu and baking powder work great for egg substitutions to make your dish egg-free. For nut substitutions, something you might not think about is toasted coconut or different types of seeds like sunflower, pumpkin, also crushed cornflakes or a crispy rice cereal or potato chips will make a nice substitution for nuts. Again, here are some wonderful resources for you if you have any other questions regarding how to make substitutions or replacements in a recipe.